Welcome to Coppersword. My name's Burst, and every Minecraft base needs a good storage system. So far, I've been working out of this shelving unit in this warehouse, and it does the job. I've got it somewhat organized into different types of blocks, but I really do need an upgrade. So, I've decided to go with a multi-item sorter designed by Lummy Thief. I'll leave a link in the description. And I blocked out this big box here as the size and shape of the storage system, because I was really worried that it was going to be much too big and clash with the scale that I've established with the other buildings here in Coppersword. But actually, if we head up to this roof here, it's shorter than this roof, or at least on par with this roof. So the storage system itself is about the size of a two-story building in this scale. So it's not going to cause any problems. So this is what I want to go ahead and build. However, I don't want to build it here, because last episode we built that super smelter that runs underneath here, and the actual storage system itself doesn't need any underground space, but the input system for the storage system does. And I was thinking I would have the storage go here, and then the input system could be over here, where there's nothing underground for it to interfere with. However, that really limits the amount of space I can have, because I have to decide right off the bat how much horizontal space I want to have for the storage system, and if I ever want to expand it, then I'm just going to be out of luck. So I think I'm going to switch it over to the other side of the street so we can have the input system right here, where it can be underground without interfering with anything. And then as I expand the storage system, it can just come all the way down the street here, and we'll have plenty of room for that. Once I block it out, I want to show you a little bit more about the style I want to go for this building. Okay, I moved it to the other side of the street, and so I've got the input chest right here, and then 3 rows here, 4 rows, and then 4 rows for the storage slices. And I've broken it up into 3 different facades, and these are going to be themed after diorite, andesite, and granite respectively. I've got the build materials all here. We're going, like I said, diorite, granite, and andesite, and I'm going to texture with calcite for the diorite, bricks for the granite, and light gray wool for the andesite. And then as far as the flooring and the interiors, we're going to go with warped, mangrove, and some green blocks for the different buildings. I'm going to go ahead, like I did before, block out a roof shape and put the walls in, and we'll go from there. Okay, here's what I've got for the roof shape. I think I managed to make it complex and interesting enough, while also not being too tall so as to break the scale of the city, and also not encroaching on the interior space that I need for the sorting system. And I also like the way it looks from up here on the lighthouse. It has a nice silhouette to it, so I'm pretty happy with that, so now I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. Also, doing all copper roofs is pretty expensive in terms of copper, so I finally have an excuse to use our brand new smelter from last episode. Let's go ahead and smelt up a bunch of copper and get working on the roof. Also, I don't know why I filled it up with charcoal last episode when I have access to blaze rods. I don't know what I was thinking. I really do need to build a copper oxidizing setup sooner rather than later, so I'm not just spreading it out all over the town. Anyways, I finished the roofs and I put the walls up. The next thing I want to do is start punching out doors and windows, so I think I have a door here, maybe a window here. And then this one, we're going to put the door on the other side, and then the window here. And then this one, I think I want it to be centered, and we can do windows either side. Next, after that, I can start texturing it. And I've been thinking about the design style for this area, and I feel like these 2 buildings are a little bit too contrasting in their design. So I'm going to try to bring them together using this build by having the doors and windows from this style, but also having this kind of textured gradient like there is on this building. So hopefully by reusing design elements from different buildings, I can help create a little more unified of a theme throughout this town. And the more time I'm spending around here looking at this, I'm not much caring for this basalt here. I think I'm going to replace this with just like continuation of this gradient, and I think that will look nicer, so I'll go ahead and do that, and also texture this building here, and I'll bring you back when I'm done with that. I've added in the doors and the windows, and I've done some texturing, and now that it's actually up on the buildings, I'm noticing how much more subtle the granite and brick and the andesite and light gray wool is compared to the diorite and calcite, so I think I'm going to switch the calcite out for mushroom stem, which will be much more subtle. As you can see, I've also started the interior, I've added the floors, and I'm considering using smooth sandstone for the interior walls, just like we did for the coal house. I've also got the chest layout up. We're also at the point where I'm confident I'm not going to make any major changes, so I can go ahead and start working on the redstone, and that'll go back in this massive space. I don't think I mentioned in the last clip, but I did end up switching out the basalt for more of the coal gradient, and I really do prefer it this way. I've also been working on this building over here, and I switched the calcite over for mushroom stem, like I said, but I really don't like this. I like the calcite better. I just think this clashes too much. So I think I'm going to switch the mushroom stem back to calcite, and then I'll look into options for block choices that will make these two less subtle. Maybe they'll pop a little more and look a little nicer. I've also added sandstone, smooth sandstone walls, like I said, and I really do like the way this looks. And so I'm going to go with that. And I also started working on the redstone. So we've got this purple circuit here. We've got this purple circuit here, and this is just a big old loop. A signal goes around in a loop over and over again, and every time it goes, it dispenses a minecart from this dispenser, a hopper minecart specifically, which comes down this rail and picks up items out of this chest, and then sends them on their way to be sorted in the system. And it keeps doing that until the red circuit detects that there aren't any items in the chest anymore, and then it'll stop. So I've gone ahead and added that input circuit, takes the input from this light here, and this blue circuit is basically just a pulse extender, so that you can't spam the button and break the machine, and it plugs into this piston, which is plugged into this observer, which triggers the purple circuit, like I said. As you can see, I've also added in a little more here. I got these bubble elevators, one for the minecart comes down this track into the bubble elevator, and then continues down into the rest of the system. And then once all the items are sorted, the minecarts will come back down this hopper line into this yellow circuit here, which will sort out all the minecarts. Minecarts get dispensed onto this rail here, which then sends them into that bubble column and back up to the top to be reused in the system, and anything else will just get landed in this hopper and into the chest, so that way you can't gum up the system with stuff that isn't minecarts. So let's go ahead and do a test run here. Let's get a couple stacks of glass. I've already filled it up with minecarts as well, so you put it in there, you hit the button, dispenses a minecart, there it is, and it fills up with about half a stack of items, and then gets sent off, and we have another one. Half a stack of items, it sends off. And right now I put a hole in this line so they're all just falling down here. And then when it's all done, the hopper minecarts will get sent down this hopper line, like I said, and they get dispensed here, and then sent back up in item form. Now another thing I've done is I've done some more work with the gradients here, and I've switched out the blocks, and I really like this a lot better. It's less subtle and more interesting. I really like this stripped jungle logs and jungle flakes with the granite. I've got clay and light gray concrete powder with the andesite, and then I put the calcite back in, and I've used white concrete to transition between them. So anyway, time to get working on the storage slices. I can't believe I've done this. Okay, I've just noticed a major issue here. So there's supposed to be 2 blocks of space in between the input chest and the storage wall. And that matters because I have to feed items into the back of these chests, right? And they're coming in through these hoppers. Well, I'm supposed to have a hopper on the back of this one and then a barrel on top, but there's this thing in the way, because this whole thing is supposed to be shifted over 1 block. Okay. I think I can salvage this. I just need to rework the hoppers a little bit. Okay, I have some chests in here. So I think if instead of... Okay, so what it's supposed to look like is I'm supposed to have hopper into the back, and then a barrel on top, and then hopper into the side of the barrel, and then this hopper line comes down from up here, right? But I can't do that here, but what I can do is I can put a chest here, and then a hopper line here, and then this can come up from the top. Okay. And that should not interfere with anything else. It's so dense in here, it's hard to see what's going on, but I'm pretty sure that should solve the issue. Okay, crisis averted. Carry on. Oh man, I just got so lucky. So I'm working on putting in the hoppers and barrels and stuff. There's quite a bit of interlocking hopper lines, but the gist of it is that this hopper goes into this barrel for the top slice, and then this hopper line goes all the way down to that barrel for the bottom slice. And then all these hoppers are for returning the minecarts back into the system. So you know how I had to rejig that system down there to fit into the bottom storage slice, to send items into the bottom storage slice around this bit here? Well, I also have to, there's supposed to be a hopper barrel line for the minecarts coming right through here for this storage slice, but there's just enough clearance above these composters that I can snake a line around this way and catch the hopper minecart from this slice and put it into the neighboring slice's barrel. I'm so glad there was enough space for that. In hindsight, I probably should have built the redstone first and the building second. That probably would have been the smarter option. So, but it's working out. It's working out. I really like these kinds of Minecraft contraptions that require weird combinations of block, like lava cauldrons and mud and amethyst clusters. It's just, I don't know, something about it. Form from function. I just love it. Anyways, this is the cart eaters going in. And then after this, we can get into the actual sorting bit. I also love the extreme FOV effects that you can create by sprinting on soul sand with soul speed 3 and speed 2. Whee! Okay, I gotta stop before I make myself sick. But anyways, we're almost done with the minecart shenanigans section, and after that will be the actual item filters. We're running into another issue here. So the sorting slice for this slice of the storage system needs to go right where this bubble elevator is, because I messed up the spacing. So I think I'm just gonna rip this bubble elevator out and put the filter system in, and then we can put it back wherever it fits. Like, if worst comes to worst, we can always just shove it in this corner. We've got enough space. All it really has to do is get the items from down here and put them in that chest. So there's lots of ways to do that. Not a major issue, just another minor annoyance. I think I did Minecraft progression wrong, because coming up with all the iron for those hoppers, no problem, I've got an iron farm. But the wheat for these target blocks was the real issue. Somehow I ended up with Swift Sneak leggings, but no wheat farm. Anyways, we're almost done with the actual physical structure. And next will come putting the items in, which is honestly going to take probably longer. Alright, that is the storage system all done. I did end up moving this bubble elevator all the way to this corner. The way this works is, as the minecart comes in, it will go underneath each of these chests, and as soon as the item in the minecart matches one of the items in these chests, it will suck the item out of the chest, which will get detected by this comparator, which will then have the minecart sent up here, and it will first come back along this rail and over this hopper for a second to deposit one item back into the chest to refill the slot that it took, and then it will turn around and go forwards and yeet all of its items into the correct storage slice. It's a really elegant system. I love it. This is going to be a really, really powerful storage system. I'm super excited. All right, I've got the system set up. The first 4 slices with the all the different wood types. So those slices should be working, and the rest are completely deactivated, so they shouldn't have any effect on the system. I've loaded it up with 3 stacks of hopper minecarts, which was very annoying to craft. But here in the input chest, I've got all the leftovers from crafting all the sample filter items. So they should hopefully get sorted into these 4 chests right here. So there's nothing to do but hit the button and see what happens. Alright, here's our first minecart. Picks up the doors, and it's off. Next one. Picks up the trapdoor. Okay. Now let's go up here and see if they're getting sorted properly. So you should see it get pulled. No? They're not getting detected. It yoinked all the items out without detecting it. Uh-oh, that is an issue. I wish the system had an emergency stop. Actually does. It's called breaking that repeater. So if I had to guess, I would say the items have now all landed in the miscellaneous chest over here. Yep, there they are. I hear a minecart. Why do I hear a minecart? What is going on down there? Okay, so that has malfunctioned. Well, I will troubleshoot this and figure out what's wrong, and then come back to you guys. Alright, I figured out what the issue is. So remember how I said that the rest of the slices are deactivated, so that shouldn't cause any problems? Well, the fact that they're deactivated is exactly what caused the problem. Let me show you. If we come around here to where the minecart goes in, I thought that since these pistons are retracted, that this line could never be disrupted and it would just always be a straight shot. What it actually means is this flowing water here that's sucking me into this space, it can also suck the minecarts into this space, and that breaks everything. So I think the solution for now is to just take a bunch of redstone blocks and stick them out the back here to artificially extend those pistons until I get around to programming those slices. Alright, the redstone block fix worked for the other two sections, but for these last two chests here, I had to go ahead and fill them up with the blank filler items. But regardless, this should now all be functioning, so let's give this another test run and see if it works this time. I've got all the wood in here, and go. Uh-oh. Why do we have 5? Hold on. Stop the train. Why? Okay, that worked. Why were we getting 5 hopper minecart items? This one worked, but let's see if it does it the second time. Nope, it's working now. Okay. Don't really know what happened there, but it is now functioning. Yeah, look at that. Let's check our front chest and make sure things are going in where they're supposed to. Nothing in there yet, but yep, we've got crimson and warped up here. We've got acacia and mangrove coming in here. And birch here. Nice. Alright, I'm gonna let this run, and we'll check up on the results. Success! It sorted all of our woods into the various chests, exactly like it was supposed to. And that anomaly where we had 5 hopper minecarts coming in, it just ended up sorting them into this chest here. Mangrove slab. Did that get unassigned? Ah, I put a crimson slab instead of a mangrove slab. There. But now it's just a matter of going back to our little storage shed. Oof, lag. It's just a matter of going back to our little storage shed. These are where I've been keeping the wood, so I can just break these and dump everything off. Boop. So now that it's all up and running, first of all, these ceilings are bland and boring, and I want to do something interesting, especially this one over here, where we've got a window looking in. And I feel like this could be an opportunity here for some kind of decoration. Man, this looks so cool. Check it out, I've got the ceiling in. I used warped planks. I replaced the planks on the floor with warped warp blocks, and I really like this floor design better. So the ceiling is planks with a dark prismarine border. And I've got this spiky looking light fixture thing that I think really helps emphasize the height of the room. And you can see it from outside too, so that's nice. I used dried kelp for the ceiling in here. And then finally, crimson stem in here. And I've got this kind of funky bulbous light fixture that turns on in the dark. I think it fits the decor, and I'm really happy with it. It's kind of weird and unconventional, and I love that. But now that the ceilings are done, it kind of draws attention to how plain and boring the walls are. I started adding some functional furniture here for all the workstation blocks that I might be using on a regular basis. But it still needs more, so I think we can start with putting a window here. I think that could look good. Yeah, that looks good. And from outside, yeah. That's pretty decent. I did start adding stuff, preparing this area for whatever we're going to do with it later on. So there's going to be this smaller road leading off into whatever's going to happen here. That's a nice view. Well, this came together surprisingly quickly. So I started with putting polished stones underneath the window sills. I think that adds some much needed framing and structure to it. And I also textured the wall as well. And it looks nice from the inside too. And then I added this quartz here. These nice straight lines I think complement the architecture of this particular room. And then just a couple of shelves with potted plants there. Moving on to this room, I added some big fluffy planters here that really give the place a nice cozy vibe. And then over here, just a couple shelves on the wall. And then once again, polished stones under the windowsill, and textured this wall. And even with just those few things, it already looks pretty nice. Like, I'm considering this project pretty close to being finished. However, this brings us to my next major derp. So, you remember how I said I didn't want to put this across the street because there's some underground circuitry that will get in the way of the furnace there. I never made that circuitry. Yeah, there's supposed to be a lever here that triggers it into 16 stackable mode. So the system works just fine if you're sorting anything that stacks to 64, but if you try to sort something that stacks to 16, that can be a problem. So there's supposed to be a extra circuit underneath this purple line here. Oops. And it's just basically a parallel line, except there's fewer repeaters, and so it will send the minecart off early if you have it in 16 stackable mode. So it's not super complicated, but the fact that I only gave this 1 block room on either side of the chest instead of 2 blocks is once again going to mean I have to do a little bit of funky custom redstone to get this to fit. But like I said, it's not a super complex circuit, so I'll just get that taken care of real quick. It is done. So now we've got this lever here that flips it into 16 stackable mode. So if we get, for example, these spruce signs and chuck them in here and switch it into 16 stackable mode, now it will only take out 14 at a time instead of taking out the whole stack. So as the minecart comes in, there you go, it only took 14, and now it'll take the last in a second trip. And then we can watch these coming in here. There we go. We've just sorted some 16 stackable items. Perfect. So I think that's going to bring this part of the project to a close. The rest is just dumping everything from my old storage system into this chest, and anything that doesn't get sorted, I'll assign it to a slice, and so that'll just be a long-term process as I continue using this system. So that is going to do it for this episode. Next episode, I want to work on this area. I've already got this idea for putting the gold building right here, the gold-themed building, and I think it will be my nether portal, because I've been using that ruined portal way out there, but it would be nice to have something right in town here connected to the road network for convenience sake. But that is for next episode, so stay tuned for that. And that's all I got. See you next episode, guys. Take care. Bye.